Aloha from Kilipohe, Keikani Aloha. Little update on the Will It Run, the GC2310 tractor, Massey Ferguson. So I did a little bit of work to get the tins off. I did get the tin off of the body there, and of course the hood and the side tins and stuff. And it's all pretty rusty stuff. I mean, here's the tin from the bottom. You can see how this is all crusty. Actually, this has been cut into two, but it was pretty much rusted into before. There's, holes there and stuff. This is a major gaping hole. I'm not sure if I'm gonna fix it or what, but I mean, like, I had to cut the fastener out of there because it was just too rusty. Here's the other half. That's all that's left out of that one side. Anyway, so I got that out, and I was able to get the drive shaft disconnected from the engine. Let's see if I can show you where that is. Yeah, in there. There's 3 bolts that hold the drive shaft onto the front of the engine, and the drive shaft comes through here and connects to the hydrostatic transmission here. Unfortunately, so here's the flange with the 3 bolts, but this spline is just completely rusted together. I think if I were to take out that U-joint and try to press that thing out, maybe I could get it out, but I just cut it. I cut it with an angle grinder, and cut the shaft right there, cut the shaft right there. I'm not, I'm trying to be realistic about this, because I'm not sure what state the transmission is in. It looks okay. I mean, that's a control valve there. That's a hydraulic pump there. Some of the stuff looks pretty good. That rusty bit there, that's part of the mower linkage, the front PTO linkage. I think it's possible that the hydrostatic transmission and the hydraulic systems will be okay. I mean, I don't know if I said this thing only has, you can rate it, that's 100 hours, 103 hours on the clock. So, geez, it's hard to get a ruined transmission with just 100 hours. Anyway, so what else? So I got the transmission disconnected, and the input shaft to the hydrostatic, it turns, which means that the hydrostatic pump is turning, and the shaft that goes in to drive the hydraulic pump, that's turning as well. So I think that will go. We'll have to see. I was able to turn the engine over 360 degrees, so it's just turning by hand now. There's a little bit of compression, so that's good. Took the belt off because this pulley is trash. I took the starter, so I took the starter apart and took it and take a look at it. And it was kind of challenging because this nut, this bolt here, I couldn't get a wrench on it. I could only get an open end wrench. I couldn't get a box end wrench, and you can see I kind of rounded over that bolt there a little bit, which is not so great. So I took a grinder and cut a little strip of metal out of here, so I could at least get a box end wrench on there, and then the bolt, the starter came out, but the bolt doesn't come out. Yeah, it's like trapped in there, so that's fine. I got a battery for it, hooked up the battery to it, and was able to do a little bit of electrical debugging. Let's see if I can show. So this connector here was full of some crud, so I took it apart and blew it out and put some fluid film in there to kind of help it out. The fuse box seems okay, so I blew those out and put some fluid film in there, and that's a little better now. Let's see if I can put the battery connector on and hold the put the battery wire together, and when I turn the key, turn the key, I get the fuel pump over there, you can hear it, and the shutoff solenoid clicks. That's the shutoff solenoid unclicking there. And so the fuel pump ran immediately when I hooked up the battery, which is great, and turned the key on. The shutoff solenoid didn't work right away. It's right here. After a little bit of debugging, I came down to this relay here and found this wire, which is hot all the time going into the relay, but it melted the connector, and I don't have any replacement ends for that. And besides, I think this relay is no longer good. It's an electronic relay. It has some transistor drivers and diodes and stuff in there, so I think it's supposed to do a little bit something other than just click. Anyway, so I put this jumper in here. This is the wire that goes to the white with black or white with green. It goes to the fuel shutoff solenoid. So I just put that jumper in there. This yellow is hot all the time when the key is on. So as soon as you turn the key on, the shutoff solenoid is active, and theoretically you could start the engine. So I took the starter off and took it apart, and there's a planetary gear system in there, and I'd show it to you, but I don't have it pulled. Well, hold on a minute. Okay, so here's the starter. It's, just 2 bolts to take out. You'll have to cut away probably some of the frame to be able to get an appropriate wrench on there to get it out. And it's these two long screws down the side, and these 2 screws in the end to take it apart, and then the cap comes right off and the motor comes out. Actually, I don't even have to pull the motor out or the cap off, but here's the planetary gearbox, and then this is a reduction, so the little motor can spin fast, and it doesn't have to spin you have more power by the motor spinning really fast and the Bendix spinning a little bit slower. But anyway, I don't know if we can see those teeth on the outside of that ring are really, really munged up. I took this whole thing apart and cleaned it and re-greased it, and there was a bunch of mangled plastic in there. I took all of that out, picked it all out with a pick, cleaned it, and then put it all together. And the problem is these metal teeth just bypass the plastic teeth. So this starter won't turn over the engine, which, okay, that's fine. I have another starter on order. It was $180 on Amazon. And we'll see. There is a part number for this ring, but nobody seems to have it. There is a vendor. This style of starter, this Denso starter, is used in a number of different applications. Honda and Toyota use this style of planetary gearbox. And there's actually a metal ring available from a racing outfit, but that metal ring it's almost as expensive as getting a new starter. So I went ahead and just bought a new starter, and I'll repair this if I need to eventually. You know, it's always been missing the solenoid, which is not so great. I use this solenoid, which I've had from Nokia for a long time. I just wired this up to run this this starter. This is how I know it won't turn over the engine. And you know, I mean, it clicks and it ran, but the little motor just spins, and the Bendix doesn't turn the engine over. So I'm assuming that these little gears are just bypassing the plastic crash. So anyway, so we're stuck without a starter, and until I get a starter, I'm not going to have any fire in the engine. What else did I do? Oh, I bled the fuel system, pulled that fuel filter, and it's clean, and bled fuel up to the fuel injection pump, and that looks fine. If the fuel gauge can be believed, it has a full tank of fuel. It's not, the engine's not, or the switch isn't on now, and I can't show you, but if it's to be believed, we have a full tank of fuel, which is 5 gallons of diesel fuel. That's nice. So really, we're just waiting for the starter, which maybe is going to be here in a couple of days. Bolt that up, and we'll see. Maybe it'll start. You know, a diesel engine with 100 hours on it, unless there was some major catastrophic failure, and I just don't see it. I mean, the way it turns, you know, it just doesn't feel like it has any problem. There's compression. Yeah. So I'm hopeful. Anyway, that's where we stand now. About this drive shaft and stuff, I mean, yeah, it's too bad I had to cut it, but I got a little wood dowel. I'll probably just put that in there, use that to align the joint, and I'll just weld that back together. Yeah, and if it gets that far, then maybe I'll go ahead and cut apart that U-joint, try to press that shaft out, because I'm sure, you know, it is important for this spline to slide on that U-joint, but it's just frozen in there. I mean, it's just really munged up. So there's a possibility maybe I'll have to buy a new one. There is somebody online who has that whole U-joint assembly, not the shaft included, but I suppose I could buy them and have them sent here if I really need to, which I don't really think I will. We'll have to see. So, still working on the engine, and I'm thinking maybe in a few days we'll have some fire, get the engine running and see how it sounds, change the oil in that. And then the next thing will be to remove all of this tin back here, expose the transmission and the hydrostatic drive and the, you know, everything that goes on back here. God, maybe it's on. It shouldn't be, the PTO. Here's the lever that shows it's disconnected, but maybe something's stuck in there. I don't know. We'll have to see. More later. That's it from the GC2310. Aloha.